This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so guys, till now we discussed the ETL testing as well as the reporting testing, right? So the intro point of view, just I will ask the few questions. Okay, can you please explain anyone what is the data ingestion process in your project? So ask the question. So how you people are give the answer? Can you please explain the data ingestion part, data flow ingestion part, or data flow on your current project? So like that they will ask the question, guys. So can anyone explain? Sandeep or Lokesh? Anyone? Dilip also fine. Aparna. So they will ask the question, can you please explain the data flow, data ingestion process of your project, or data architecture of your project? So then what to do, we have to tell, because we have already completed the ETL testing as well as the reporting testing. Both things we have completed here. So we have to able to tell the answer now for those questions.
So basically, there are multiple stages involved. Like from the beginning, there are source table, which could be a table format or a flat file or any web thing. And from there, we identify the source table, and we also have a data warehouse, or that is called a target table, where we have to inject the data with respect to by performing some transformations that is taken care by the ETL tools. I mean, we can use ETL tools for that. And
okay.
Am I saying correct only, right?
Yeah, correct only. But we need to some more. We need to enlarge the question answer. Okay. Whatever you said that is correct, but we need to still enlarge, elaborate the answer.
So we are collecting the data from the different sources. The different parts like SQL flat files, and some other data sources, and by using of some ETL transformations and extracting the data from data sources into the data warehouse.
Yeah, correct. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
So no problem. I'll tell you. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Data warehouse, that is called as a analytical data, and source data is called as a transactional data. Analytical data used for the transaction and reporting and visualization purpose. Source data is a transactional data. It is a, for example, transaction data is a minute to minute it will be updated.
Okay. So how you have people have to see. We don't have to tell the generic answers now. Okay. So they ask that tell me about your current project data architecture means how you have to tell means. For example, you could take any domain. For example, you are working on the retail domain, or if you are working on the insurance, you are working on the healthcare. Whatever the domain you are mentioned in your resume. So we have to take that resume, that project. Okay. For example, take any client, retail client. Okay. So you have to tell. So currently I'm working on this project. This is the client. For example, BELK. One client, the BELK. So currently I'm working on the BELK client. Okay, it is in US. Okay. So it is a retail domain project. So you have to mention the which domain that is the project. So it is health insurance or finance or the retail or whatever, pharma, whatever the project. Okay, banking. Okay, so it is a retail domain project. So we are getting multiple data, multiple sources of the data we are getting from the source systems. So the source systems, so they are extracting through ETL. So whatever the ETL tool you have mentioned in your resume. So we are extracting the multiple sources data through ETL like Informatica, and then they are going to ingest into the stage table. Okay, I told the actual the data warehousing, the real time will be source to stage to target. Okay, they won't load directly from the source to target, right? They won't load the source to target. They will load first the source to stage. Where is the ETL? Yeah. So like that it will load source to stage and stage to target. Okay. So they're extracting the source data by using the ETL. Okay. And then they're loading into the stage table. Okay. So extracting the data into stage table. So in the stage table here the stage table, it will be always will be 1 day worth of the data will be there. So always will be truncate and load. Whenever we load the data, it will truncate and load. For example, in a day we have 3 times load. So automatically all the 3 times it will truncate and load the data, the stage tables. Correct? So I explained the stage table last time. So it will be truncate and load always. Only 1 day worth of the data it will be there. But then the real time it will be every day morning only it will run, right? That's why I'm saying 1 day worth of the data. Sometimes they ask the guys, they ask, so 1 day means if you multiple times, 4 times if you run, so all the four times of the data means that is incorrect. Always will be truncate and load. If you load now after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whenever you load the data from, you extract the data and then ingest into the stage layer, it will be truncate and load always. Okay. So once the load the stage layer, here will be the mapping, it will be direct map, straightforward. Okay, there is no transformations they are going to apply the on stage layer. Okay, once the stage layer it load the data, again they are applying the ETL tool. Again they are going to apply the ETL tool Informatica, and they are going to apply the transformation logics here and then load into the target table. Okay, so here we are doing the validations of the ETL validation from source to stage and stage to target. So what are the logics they implemented in the through stage to target through ETL? So those logics we are going to implement in our query, source query, and then we are comparing the source data as well as the target data. So like that you have to elaborate the answer. Okay. So once the data is loaded into the target database, again they use for the BI tool like Power BI or whatever. So they're going to generate different kind of reports. They're going to generate different kind of reports for the end user. The reports like with the different time measures like YTD, MTD, QTD, okay, or with this year, last year, with flash sales reports, stock ledger reports, vendor reports, okay, brand reports, like the different kind of reports they are going to generate for the end user to analyze the business. So like that end-to-end flow you have to tell. Okay, you have to mention here itself clearly the stage table, what it will do to the stage table, and what is the target table it will do. So here we are maintaining the historical data in the target table. We are not truncate any, we are not doing any manipulations in the target side. So this is a read-only data. So like that you have to elaborate the answer and then you have to tell the, so that is the data ingestion part. So any domain, whatever the domain you have to take, the same flow you have to explain in the interview. Okay. The next question they will ask, can you tell me what kind of validations you have performed on ETL side? Tell me guys, anyone? So here we have to do the source to stage, you have to do the validation. From stage to target also we have to do the validation. Always 99% or 100%. The stage layer and target layer both are same database. Means this SQL server means this also SQL server. Here Oracle means here also Oracle. Okay. Only source to stage it may vary. Source to stage it may vary, but stage to target always both are in the same server, same database, always. Okay. Now tell me, the guys, what kind of validations you are going to perform on the ETL side? Anyone?
First, we perform the job validation to ensure that
Yeah.
the target in the table is loading proper data from the source to target, and
Yeah.
also any dependency is there for that job execution, that also should be run previously. I mean, that is the prerequisite to be followed. And
Yeah.
we validate the structure of the table with respect to uh, the number of rows and columns, and the column data type, the size of the table, and all of that. And
Fine.
we also check the referential integrity based on the join conditions. We validate the um, foreign key, uh, foreign key and primary key dependency.
Yeah.
Then we also check the business column key validation. It should be not null, or
Yeah.
if there is any null or space that is
Yeah.
identified. And we do full load and initial load validation, where
Yeah.
we check count validation of the target and source table, that both should match. I mean, the source count could be more and target count could be less. But I mean, source
Okay.
count, it includes target count and the rejected count. So
Yeah.
target count could never be more than the source count.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Okay. Fine. So here we have to explain here the whatever you said the correct only, but you have to tell still a few more points you have to tell. Okay. Okay. So here we have to tell. So at the time of the ETL phase, we are going to divide into different phases the validation, like job validation, structure validation, the full load validation, and the incremental load validation. So like that we are divided, and then we are doing the validations in the as part of the ETL testing. Okay. So once the job validation, so we are going to check the job is available or not, and then if the job is available, then we are going to check is there any dependencies for that particular job. Okay, like predecessors and successors. Okay, predecessors means before going to run the job. Successor means after executing the current job, is there anything we have to run? So that is a predecessor and successor. Okay, and then when we are going to run the job, so then we are going to check the audit table. This information, job information, is executed or not properly, updated correctly in the audit tables or not. Okay, and then come to the structure validation. So we are going to validate the as per the mapping document. We are going to check the target table is defined correctly or not, like data types and column sizes. Okay, and the referential integrity. So and then any constraints. So these kind of validations we are going to perform on the structure validation. So the next will be we are going to perform the full load validation or initial load validation. Okay, the full load means the first time we are going to load the data from the source to target, that we call as a full load. Okay, here we are going to check the basic validations like the count, duplicate check, the business key columns. Okay, next will be default value validation, hard coded validation. Okay, so sorry, so these kind of validations I'm going to perform. Okay, and then we are going to the minus query. Okay, 1 second guys. So we are doing the minus query by using the minus query. So each column level, attribute level, we are going to validate the data is exactly matching or not. Okay. Next, once the full load is completed, then we are going to validate the incremental load. Okay. The incremental load validation, we are going to check. So 1 second, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Second. We want to something. Just one second, guys. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So see in the incremental load. So first we are going to check is there any data we are going to insert in the source side, the new data. So that time if you run the job, how it will be job is running from the target side. Okay. If you run the source side, any existing data, if you're going to modify any data, then if you run the job, then how it will be performing on the target side. If you delete any data from the source side, source data, then after run the job, how it going to perform the target side. So these kind of validations we are going to perform on the incremented data load. Okay. So these things you have to explain in the at the time of the ETL validation. Okay. And also, can you, if they ask, if you have one report, then how you do validate the report? Tell me what kind of scenarios and approaches you have to follow further to validate the any kind of report. Guys, now tell me the reporting part.
Sorry, what was the question? It was your voice was breaking.
So reporting. So yeah. So if you ask the how to validate the any report, so what is your scenarios or what is your approaches? What kind of validation you're going to perform on the reporting side? Means what you have to tell the answer. As of now, we discussed the ETL testing, right? So how we are going to do the perform the ETL validations. Now, if they ask the reporting side, so BA validation, how you are going to do the BA validation?
So for BI validation, first we check the report look and feel, the report column, spelling, sequence, formats, and everything of the reports. And
Yeah.
then if we go down with the functional testing, we check the totals and grand totals, whatever are present in the report. and also the drill down and drill up approach. Like if any within a report, if something is hyperlinked, then clicking on that particular report, it should navigate us to the details of that report. So that could be validated, and also the navigation with the hyperlink as it was. And if there are any alerts, functionalities, and all, like if few columns are color coordinated, then we have to check those, like the proper
Yeah.
color orientation and everything is coming.
So we can see the alert functionality. Not only color, we have say the alert functionality. Okay. Is there any alert functionality they implemented? So we are going to check that the alert functionality is working fine or not. For example, if they want to profit, whenever they profit, they got the more than 15% or 20%. They want to populate some color. Okay. If they want to get the loss or something, so they want to populate some red color, something like that. You have to means whatever the things are the real-time things like that. You have to explain. Okay. So if correct, whatever you said, you'll be correct. So the functionalities like drills,
Download,
navigations,
yeah, download,
yeah,
print.
functionality, print functionality, totals,
It should
and then
it should
calculated
fit
methods.
to the it should fit to the page. I mean,
Yes, yeah.
so
Okay.
that also you have to do.
So those things we are going to those goes and also the data validation here. So they will say how you are going to do the data validation. Okay.
We
So
compare.
whatever the columns are, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, sorry. You carry on.
No,
That's all.
go ahead. If you are, tell means it will be fine. At least you get the what to tell the answer, right? That's why. To ask the same question in the report in the interviewer, you have to tell, na? That's why. That is my intention. One or two interviews if you attend, then you will get the clarity. Yes.
So basically, we write our own query to identify the results in the source and target, if it is comparing the exact data or not, by giving joins and applying report filters and all of that. We can
Yeah.
get the report data.
Yeah. So here we have to tell joins means, so what are the column, what are the tables and the columns involved in that report. So based on, we are going to list down those tables, dimension table and fact table, and then we are going to apply the proper joins. Okay. And also we are going to apply the filters. What are the filters they are going to selected? Those filters we selected in the selected into the report target query, and then we are comparing the target query result as well as the report result. It will be both are the same or not. So like that we are going to validate in the data validation part. Okay. So they will ask the on where we are going to write the query, the source side or target side for the reporting purpose. So we have to tell the on top of the target data. Okay. On top of the target data, we are going to write the query, and then you have to validate the report data. Because of the for the report purpose, the source will be on target data. Okay. For target database, the source will be what is the transactional data. Okay, that is the source. Okay. So okay, fine guys. So today we'll discuss the agile methodology because of the, most of the people are not available today. That is the reason I just started the free class. Okay. We'll start the agile methodology. How it will be there is very, very important, guys. Going forward, they are going to ask the agile method. Most of the companies are using the agile methodology. Okay. Nowadays, everyone is using the agile methodology. Yes, can you tell me the spelling agile?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in the agile methodology, the mainly it will be there three parts. Product owner will be there. Who are the involving is product owner, Scrum Master, team members. So these three categories are there. The team members, it will come the developers, QA, BA, business analyst. These all will come under the team members. Okay. So Scrum Master means whoever the drive the Scrum. Okay. That person we call as Scrum Master. The product owner means whoever the delivery manager of the product. Who is the manager of the product. So that guy will be the product owner. Okay. So these three people are involved in the Scrum. Okay. So in the Agile methodology, how it will be there means, so there the sprints are there. We call as a sprint. So how many sprints it will be there means, there are either 2 week sprint, 3 week sprint, or 4 weeks. Okay, either 2 or 3 or 4 weeks are there. So like that, they're going to divide a sprint into the weeks. Most probably they're going for the 2 weeks only. Most of the companies. Okay, most of the companies they'll go for the 2 week sprint. In the 2 week sprint, so they're going to what kind of development, what kind of testing we have to perform on in the 2 weeks. Like that, they'll divide the work. Okay, we'll see. First we'll go for the what is a Scrum. So Agile methods believes that every project needs to be handled differently in the existing methods. Needs to be targeted to best suit the project requirements. In Agile, the tasks are divided in the boxes to deliver the specific features into the release. So actually, what you are doing first will be in the actual earlier methods. They are going to follow the once all the development is everything is completed, requirement analysis, development, designing, everything is completed. Then only we are going for the testing, and then they are going to start the new requirement. That is the process is there earlier. Now the Agile methodology, so they are going to start the parallelly. First will be the 2 weeks. This I told the iteration will be 2 weeks. Every iteration will be 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. The 2 weeks only they're going to plan, requirement analysis, design, development, and then testing. Everything they're going to finish in that particular 2 weeks only. Next 2 weeks again they will start the new one. Okay, so like that they're going to start in the. So totally it will be easy. So for example, if you send the 100 tables into production at a time. So in this methodology, every month they're going to send the 10 tables into production live. Okay, it will be easy that even it will be went to the product live also easily. Okay, that is the reason they're going to nowadays use everyone they're going to use the Agile methodology only. Most of the companies, most of the projects, they're going to follow the Agile methodologies. Okay, in the Agile methodology, they're going to some the meetings are there. Okay, the Scrum, they're going to involve the product owner, Scrum Master, and team members. These three people are involving in the Scrums. Okay, so product owner is nothing but delivery manager, handle the Scrum. Team members is nothing but the dev, QA, business analyst, means functional guys. Okay, so I told the sprint, we call that sprint. So I'm not sure exactly the definitions. If you want to go for the what is a Scrum, what is a sprint, the exact definitions means we have to go and search on the Google only. Okay, but the terminology will be Scrum and sprint. Okay, the sprint will be, so the first day of the sprint they're going to conduct the sprint planning. Okay, first day of the sprint they're going to conduct the sprint planning. So it will be almost 1 to 1.5 hours will be there. So it depends upon the team members, how many are there. If the team size is more, then it will be 1.5 hour, 2 hours. If the team size will be less, then it will be at least 1 hour. Okay, so in the sprint planning they're going to assign the task. So what kind of task we are going to perform in these 2 weeks, which kind of things we have to analyze, which kind of things we are going to test, development, and then test everything. Okay, which are the things are going to finish within the sprint. So those those things they are going to plan in the sprint planning. Okay, in the sprint planning, based on the story points, 2-pointer, 4-pointer, 6-pointer, 8-pointer, 10-pointer, means these are days. Okay, story days. So the work will be developed, how many days it will be complete that task. The one table is there, the small table. So how many days it will take to finish the development? How many days it will take finish the testing? So based on the story points, okay, they're going to assign the tickets into team members. Sorry, any doubts here?
Yeah, yeah. Story points they consider in hours, right? Not days.
Depends upon the project. So they're going to consider the days. Some project they're going to consider the days. Some point they're going to hours. That is, it
Okay,
depends
so
upon.
there is no standard thing. It
There is no
depends
standard.
on what
There
the
is no.
company.
So in my project, they're going to consider the days. Because the data warehousing, it won't complete in the hours, right? For the manual testers, manual testing, a manual web application, they might be considered in the hours. It may be finished. But come to the data warehousing side, they won't consider in the hours wise. Okay.
Okay.
So within the 10 hours or 1 hour, 6 hours, 8 hours, it won't complete. It won't complete the development as well as it won't complete the testing. Okay. So that is the reason they're going to days only. Okay. Here, for example, they're going to how they're going to give the sprint story points means based on the complexity. So the complexity will be simple, medium, complex, very complex. So like that it will be there, guys. Okay. So based on these, they're going to divide the story points. Either it will be 2 to 4, here the 4 to 6, complex will be 6 to 8, very complex will be 10. So like that they're going to give the days. Okay. Story points they're going to define. So based on how much complexity will be there that work task. Based on that, they're going to define the story points. Okay. So that is the story points. Okay. The sprint planning, the first day of the sprint. Okay. So it will go, they are going to conduct the sprint planning based on the story points. They are going to assign the task in the team members. Dev means QA, BA. For everyone, they are going to assign the task in the Jira. Okay. So next day onwards. So next day onwards, they are going to conduct the Scrum call or sprint daily call or stand-up call, whatever that will be. Sometimes some people they call a stand-up, some people they call a Scrum call, some people they call sprint daily call. So that is, it depends upon the company. Stand-up calls. Okay, it will be around 15 to 30 minutes. Depends of the team size. If the team is less, then they are going to finish it within the 15 minutes. The team is big, they're going to take the 30 minutes. Okay, so here what they are going to discuss in the stand-up calls, what you worked yesterday, what you are going to work on today, and is there any blockers. So these things you have to highlight in the stand-up call. So each and every person you have to tell. They will ask each and every person. So what you have worked yesterday, and what you are going to work on today, and is there any blockers for you? Okay. So like that you have to tell to work to continue your work. Okay. These things we are going to discuss in the daily call, stand-up call. Next will be the end of the sprint. The last day of the sprint, they are going to conduct the sprint retrospective meeting. This they ask the interview guys so many times. They ask, what is sprint retrospective? Okay. The day one, they're going to start the sprint planning, and day end, last day of the sprint. So that is 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever the time frame. The last week of the sprint, they're going to conduct the sprint retrospective. Okay. So in the last day sprint, what they are going to discuss means, so in the current sprint, how it went the current sprint, what went well, what not went well, and is there any improvement for the next sprint. is, for example, okay. So last day of the sprint means what went well, what not went well, and there any improvements means. So for example, they have assigned the 2 tasks to you, 2 Jira stories or 3 Jira stories. You have finished the 2 stories. You have finished. One you didn't started or something you started and then it will be blocked. So you have to tell the why you didn't finish within the time frame. Okay, what is the blocker for you? Okay, to overcome this one, what we have to do the next sprint. So like that, each and every person they will collect the information, the sprint retrospective meeting. So what went well, what not went well, and is there any improvement to next sprint. So these kind of things they are going to collect. The as a scrum master is going to collect all the information. The driving will be the scrum master, the sprint planning, scrum calls, stand up call, and then the sprint retrospective. Everything will be handled by the scrum master. Okay. So whatever the sprint is there. So for example, out of 10, six are tables are completed. Okay, the 4 are not yet completed. Then there we are going to move into the backlog, which are not completed, right? Those things they're going to the backlog. We call as a backlog. So here you can see the plan in the sprint 10 tables development, 10 tables the QA. Okay, in the 2-week sprint they're going to plan for these many tables has to complete everything development as well as the QA. So actually in the sprint what happened? 6 table development completed, 5 table QA completed. Means what happened next will be the actual versus the plan means still 4 tables are the development needs to develop, and the 5 tables we have to do the QA. So these all those things they're going to move into the backlog. Okay, product we call as a product backlog. They'll move into the backlog. Okay, because of the they won't move into the suddenly into the next sprint. These all the things we already they already planned the sprints before itself. They plan the at least 3-4 sprint work they're going to plan. Okay, what is the we have to do this sprint, next sprint what we have to do, on third sprint what we have to do. So all the work they're going to define in the previously only. If you start these things, then the next sprint whatever they already planned, that will be disturbed, right? This is the reason they'll move into the backlog. The later point of view, they will connect one sprint separately, and then they will start these backlog stories. They'll finish these backlog stories. Okay, and also they will call as a one down chart. So they will ask in the interview what is burn down chart. Okay, so once the overall the sprint is completed, they're going to generate a chart overall the how is the sprint. Okay, overall how is the sprint, all those things. Okay, so in the graph representative way, they're going to generate a chart that we call as burn down chart. So it will represent the how many things are completed, how many tasks completed, how many are moving to the backlog. So everything it will be represented in the chart format. That chart we call as a burn down chart. Okay, so this is the overall of the agile methodology. Okay, any doubts guys, agile methodology? So these guys every time they are going to ask this question every interview. Agile methodology. Okay, so they will ask which methodology you are going to work on the currently. They will ask like that this question. So we have to tell that we are going to work on the agile methodology. So in the agile methodology we have the 2-week sprint. So in the 2-week sprint, the day 1 of the sprint, they're going to assign the task based on the story points. Okay, and the second day onwards they're going to start the stand-up calls. In the stand-up call we are going to tell what we worked on yesterday, we are going to work on that today, and then any blockers we are going to highlight in the stand-up calls every day. Okay, and the end of the sprint they're going to conduct the sprint retrospective. So in the sprint retrospective, so they're going to discuss each team member what went well, what not went well, and is there any improvement for the next sprint. So they're going to collect this kind of information from the each team member to improve the next sprints. Okay, so whatever the stories are not completed in the current sprint, those stories, those tables, that those tasks, they're going to move into the backlog. Okay, so like that you have to explain the agile methodology. Clear, guys? Any doubts here? Okay, so apart from the agile methodology, the previously we have the some other models also there. So for example, take the V model. How they are going to work on the previously V models? I think still some companies they're going to, other than the data warehousing projects, normal manual projects, they're going to work on these models. Okay, so requirement gathering. So how it will be the V model means first will be requirement gathering, and then they will do the acceptance testing. Again will be system analysis, system testing, software design, integration testing, development, and then unit testing, and then coding, and then validation. So like that they're going to perform the V model. Okay, earlier will be this kind of models they're going to follow, guys. V model, waterfall model. So waterfall model means so requirement gathering, system analysis, coding, testing, implementation, and then live. If anything happen here, if anything happen in the changes, new changes, okay, again they're going to start from the first. That is the disadvantage of the models. Okay, this we call as a waterfall model. There are the different kind of models are there, guys. Waterfall models, iterative model, spiral model, okay, V model, the Big Bang model, Agile model. But in the data warehousing, we are going to use this model. Nowadays, each company, each and everyone, they're going to use this Agile model. So the interview point of view, you have to answer this model. In the real time point of view also, you have to know what is Agile model. Okay, forget all those things. Sometimes maybe they for manual testing they will ask this question. For the data warehousing, they won't ask. Most of the company they won't ask anything here except the Agile model. Okay, so you have to thoroughly understand the Agile model for the ETL testing and the reporting testing purpose. Clear, guys? And then they will ask one more thing. Can you please explain the HTLC or HDLC? What is HDLC? Software development lifecycle. What is HTLC? Software testing lifecycle. So I already explained in our ETL testing lifecycle. The same thing you have to explain the HTLC means you have to explain this one. Software testing lifecycle. Okay. First the requirement analysis, and then requirement analysis. What you have to do? So we have to understand the requirements. Then we have to test the requirements. So are the requirements are clear? Is there any ambiguity? Are testable? So like this kind of questions you have to analyze ask in the requirement analysis. And then test strategy or test plan. Okay. Test scenarios you are going to prepare test cases, and test execution, defect life cycle, and the TCR document. Or test closure document, PSN of document. Okay, this is the testing life cycle we are going to follow. So if they ask the HTLC means you have to explain these things. Software testing life cycle. Okay, here is the ETL testing life cycle. We call it ETL testing life cycle. So this already I explained in the ETL testing time. Okay. So tomorrow we'll discuss the what is black box testing and some other kind of testing, guys. Okay, white box testing, what is black box testing, what is retesting, regression testing, sanity and smoke. So these kind of questions they will ask in the interview point of view. So those topics we are going to discuss in the tomorrow, and then we'll start the Unix concepts also we'll discuss in the Unix. Okay, So most of the things tomorrow we are going to finish the manual things, okay, and then we are going to start the real-time. The one task we are going to take, and then we are going to finish the in big data platform. Yes. So first, I will going to explain what is a big data, all those things, okay, and then we will see the next two classes, where 2 or 3 classes we are going to finish the one real-time task. Okay, guys. I'm going to start the recording.